Hello and welcome to Fut-Afrique channel. I'm Sizwe Mabena, proud to join you for the first time here at a special time when we look forward to the Africa Cup of Nations happening in Côte d'Ivoire, joined by my brothers, Mofokeng, as well as Christophe, Bongo, the oldest of the brothers, yeah? You call him Sir, Uncle? Elevate him.
Sir Bongo. Sounds like a poem up.
That is cool. Anyway, let's get serious now, gents. Thanks for joining me firstly. And gents, it's a special time from an African point of view, for a football lover's point of view as well. Chris, you remember my first time traveling with you on the continent was Egypt 2006. And I mentioned this because you might not remember one particular day. Traveling, we learn, especially when you're young and you travel the continent, you learn so much about yourself and Africans that you take for granted, because we grew up thinking Disneyland and Europe and what's on TV until you travel the continent. And then you change. It changed me. Côte d'Ivoire, we knew Didier Drogba. Hardly knew anybody else. The Kalou brothers were still there before the Yaya Tourés and so on. And one journalist came up to our room and we were editing. And it was from Côte d'Ivoire. I'll never forget this. And he was crazy about Max Mapriani, so he'd come visit Max every time we were editing in the room at night. Yeah. And he says to us, guys, you know, I pray. This Côte d'Ivoire team, no one expected anything from them. If they do well at home, the fighting will stop. Group stages. And when he said this, so I asked the guys later, because I wasn't that well informed. Would you know, Côte d'Ivoire, or Ivory Coast, let's call it then. They're fighting with civil wars. Max is like, yeah, Chris and them are now saying, and Chris is telling me it's not Ivory Coast, it's Côte d'Ivoire, you know? And I remember that gentleman, you could tell times were tough in Côte d'Ivoire, just the way he was dressed, but he was still wearing a tie, collar, Chris. And Côte d'Ivoire, then we started supporting them based on the one statement he made. Next thing you know, this team no one expected anything from gets out of the group stages, and we're just behind them every time because we're commentating these games as well. They go all the way to the final, they lose, but till today, never been any fighting in Côte d'Ivoire since.
You know
they stopped. They can't stop between the two.
The story that Sizwe is making of Côte d'Ivoire during the 2006 Afcon.
Yeah.
The national team actually demanded, they asked the government to stop fighting until the end of
the tournament.
And it just happened, they went all the way.
So
they went all the way.
They never went back to the guns.
It is amazing, but you said something which Brian will understand. In the media, people they see us, they think everything is beautiful. What he's saying is, when we finish broadcasting the game, we'll come back in our hotel room and edit the game and send it back in South Africa so that it can be broadcast, because you have to edit the story of the day. So it is a lot of work. It is.
You know when you talk about the traveling on the continent, I remember Ethiopia 2013.
Wow.
Bafana playing against Ethiopia.
Bernard Parker.
16 years.
16
June. Bernard Parker, the beauty scored against William.
Yeah, what a goal, bro.
You know, the biggest thing about that story is that we were in CAR first, because CAR was playing in Cameroon that time. So after the CAR game in Cameroon, we therefore went to Ethiopia. So we arrived on the Monday, but the game was on a Sunday.
By the way, you have to explain what CAR is, Central African Republic.
Yes.
Many people
know.
We know, but
So CAR, Central African Republic, couldn't play the matches at their own venue. They actually played a game in Yaoundé. In Cameroon. So we left Cameroon on Monday and went straight to Ethiopia. So Afcon only joined us on Friday. But from Monday all the way to the Friday, it was a learning curve. And that was the last trip actually took with the late Manyapin.
Oh man,
Oh
yes. He was telling me about how valuable the bottle of water is.
Unbelievable.
He was telling me, and he was saying that was his last African trip because he hadn't seen people suffer like that before.
You know, so we went to, there's a church we went to. The church, that's where all the kings are buried.
Yes.
You know, and that's where all the founders of Ethiopia, the people actually fought in the war when the Italians wanted to invade, and everybody, all the way to the great Selassie was actually all buried in that place.
It's a great history.
So we left there and went to the mountain. There's a mountain you went to, the highest altitude you can ever experience anywhere in Africa is that mountain we went to. And we were taught about a lot of historical stuff with Ethiopia. You need to enter a museum, you got to understand. And that's when when I came back from there, that was just one of the trips. When I came back from there, and I went to Kenya, and I went to Cameroon, and I went to all the other countries, and went to Europe as well, and Brazil. I got to admire and love certain things that we have here at home that you're unappreciated of.
Yeah.
Because you get to see and also I got to understand that Ubuntu is not only here. It is an African thing.
It's an African thing, yes.
Don't you realize what we're talking about here? That everything we're talking about, we discovered through football.
Well, that's what the Afcon is, I think, for Africans. Because, like I say, we saw TV will teach you. I almost know America like I've been there.
You know America
like I can tell you
been
all the 5 boroughs in New York, my apologies. I can tell you about anything in America, their culture.
You're very passionate.
You know what I mean?
America, eh?
No, I've never been there. But here's the thing. My first African experience was Cote d'Ivoire.
Yeah.
So we flew from here to the military base in Namibia. And we had the itinerary. So I know we were stopping at Cote d'Ivoire, we were stopping at DRC. But when we landed at DRC, we're still going to Burkina Faso. We're supposed to be there at 8 at night. We left in the morning here with a charter flight. Get to DRC, there's soldiers. I've never seen soldiers before in my life. and there's tanks that are broken, planes that are broken. So when you land, it's just, hey man, it looks like they were fighting last week. Yeah.
By the way, people don't understand.
So now, these soldiers line up.
Yeah.
So in Namibia, at the base, a military base, this is a normal airport in DRC. We're allowed to get out, walk about in the desert until they finish fueling the plane. And all we saw was to fuel the plane. And now this is my first time ever out of South Africa, like 24. Rob Cartier, I think his name was, comes in and says, guys, because he was the leader of the crew, hey, whatever you do, don't leave the plane. Don't smoke outside there by the door. Don't. They'll take you to the never see you. Now for me,
where was that?
DRC. So the soldiers are there.
Was Chris there?
Come on, no.
We would have left him. I take him. You know what I mean? So now, I'm sitting in the back. I'm still the youngest by far.
Yeah.
By the way,
Max Mapuyani, let me just tell the story quick.
Yeah.
So, I'm panicking. I said, no, man, it's supposed to be only 2 hours to refuel. Bro, we're there from like midday, 2, 3, 4 dark. We're kidnapped, in my opinion. these guys pour their petrol.
I must text home.
And the itinerary says EFT, right? The money, 50,000 or something dollars. Guys are like, no, you don't want cash. So they tell us there's something I'm stuck in DRC. Because now Africa, and you're learning African.
Yeah.
You know, and you're learning where we're at. You're learning, there was fighting here. And you're learning, it's an eye-opening experience, and through football. And that's what I love about the Afcon. In every country I've been to, I learned so much.
Yeah.
No, Afcon is amazing. That I think I spoke with Brian in some episode that we did. Many South Africans don't appreciate the fact that just making it to the Afcon, it is the most amazing thing.
It's the most beautiful thing. It's the most beautiful.
You are guaranteed to play 3 games.
Oh, being there, because you guys know
You are guaranteed to play 3 games in the 3 different venues. And if you travel with South Africa,
go to
that experience. I mean, you and I, we know when we got in Ghana. The majority of the group that we had, they're looking for McDonald's and KFC.
Yes.
You and I, we went to the market and they sit and they eat grass cutters. So it is a great moment. 2024 for me, I believe Afcon is going to be amazing. Just to have my adoptive country, South Africa, back in Afcon. For me, it made it. It made it.
You know, when you look at the countries that are playing at this year's Afcon, I think that's the most exciting thing for me is that.
Sure.
You know, I'm happy to see Namibia back.
Wow.
Yeah, man,
I'll tell you why I'm happy to see Namibia back.
That's a nice one.
Because the best player we have in South Africa is from Namibia.
And you would like to see him playing the highest level.
The highest level. To see what he can do.
Is he the best striker ever in South Africa?
Yes.
Look at his numbers.
The past 2 seasons.
Touch him. No, ever. PSL.
Well, not really. I mean,
PSL.
No. Eras.
Eras.
Eras different. For me, even Mambush from Sanaan, it was. I don't like comparing players from one era to the other. They had different difficulties, different approach, different football.
You know, I hear you. This is Namibia.
Yes.
You know why will say from a footballing point of view, the importance of Peter Shabulile coming up and being the player he is. Johanna Moop doing very well, you know. That is how Bongo, who's playing now, who's playing also now in South Africa, you know, a very good player, central defender, beautiful to actually watch, absolutely brilliant. The way he controls things in the central defense, the way he actually go forward and get involved in play when they do break and go forward. So you also have a Johanna Moop.
But what is their secret? Brian, I know you want to go to names.
Yeah, but I'm saying,
what is Namibian's secret?
You know what is a good thing with Namibia? Because of, if you look at Namibia, the split of Namibia, you have the German side of Namibia, you have the Portuguese side of Namibia, you also have a segment that is Swan orientated, and then you go to the Windhoek side, which is more South Africa than anything else. But also, because
they have the Khoi side as well?
They also have the Khoi side.
Yeah.
But what is very important is that they had a deal because of the German side of Namibia. Most of their players were actually exported to Germany.
Really? Okay.
You know, if you look at a Zeneta Coleman, the star player for the Namibian women team, she has been there for the longest of time. So they have this exchange program with the Germans. So that is why they have
it is working.
That's why they have a very solid structure. But also, if you remember the under-19 tournament, we used to have the Metropolitan was called that. That was where Peter Shell was first discovered. Before he got to play in the COSAFA tournament in 2015, which Namibia won eventually, he was part of that under-19 team that was discovered, and that's where teams started spotting and saying there's a talented young man.
Development.
So the development of theirs is very good. The structure-wise is very good because they don't fear the risk of putting players in very young and actually bringing them to play at the biggest of tournament. That's just what the difference they have. But it also works now, even though they had an administrative issue, because for 2 years they were in administration, the Football Association had administration. From a CAF point of view, FIFA said no, this is not working out. Wow. But what was important, even though they're not playing football at home,
no league football.
Those players were exported. They all played their football and were top stars in their countries where they played. So when they came back to become a national team to play together, they brought all the experience from elsewhere and brought it together into the team. That is why they're such units, because they also understand the hunger of being there.
Now they're back in the Champions League this season. After the Namibian team, I just can't forget. Forgive me, I can't remember the name. Against Zesco, But anyway,
you see, you are taking us very far. We supposed to be talking.
No, I'm just saying, Namibia on the up and up. They played against Zesco of Zambia. They, in my opinion, I was commentating that game. They outplayed the Zambians, and Zambia is a solid nation. But another thing, let's talk, Chris. The fact that Cote d'Ivoire is hosting.
Yes.
Where does that put them from a playing point of view?
I think the pressure will be great for Cote d'Ivoire. They had a golden generation that failed to win the Afcon. Immediately when that golden generation failed, the leftover managed to win it.
Yes.
And the reason I'm saying the leftover, Kolo Toure and the Didier Drogba did not win it. They were not part of the winning side. Yeah. So it was just when. Yes. So it was when people almost forget about Cote d'Ivoire, they won the Afcon. What we have seen from the last Afcon 2021, which was in Cameroon, and because it is in the same region, moving forward, the answer to your question, Cote d'Ivoire, they would make it to the semi-final, but I don't see them winning this Afcon.
As hosts, you see them being powerful enough to get to.
Right. We saw it happen in Egypt. We saw it happen in Cameroon. Yeah. So being eliminated in Africa in your own backyard is not an issue. And we saw it in South Africa as well in 2013.
For the first thing that is very important for me, Chris, when you look at the groupings and you look at the way the teams are, I think one thing that I'm very happy for Cote d'Ivoire, for example, is the fact that they also played in the qualifiers. So
but that's a good change.
That's a
great change.
Game time is important. For all players continuously play together, because the problem is that when you are hosting and you don't play these qualifiers, you play a lot of friendlies. And friendlies tend to give you wrong impression. You start believing that they're very good.
So do you believe Cote d'Ivoire, listen, we'll talk about the group later like Sizwe will do, but do you believe Cote d'Ivoire they will win this Afcon?
I mean, they'll get out of the group stages. I think they'll get very far.
I give them a semi-final.
I look at it, if you think about them and look at other nations that are coming in. And also, if you look at the way the qualifiers were done, the way teams played in the qualifiers, you realize that a Victor Osimhen, for me, will carry the Nigerian team. I believe that he's going to be a tournament, because a lot of people are still not sure whether he should have been the African footballer of the year from a main point of view. Given the fact that you had a Riyad Mahrez.
He does not play in England. Can we just stop there?
No, I understand. And I think listen, his exploits at Napoli cannot be overrated.
No, listen.
No, because he knows that if you talk about Osimhen, and if you go to England, they don't want to talk about Mahrez. He doesn't want to talk about because he plays for Manchester City.
Listen. We know You know Ballon d'Or influence is Spain. It's all about the marketing. CAF is about England and France. If you don't play in those two leagues, regardless of how good you are.
But he played in Italy and he won it.
No.
Very good.
No, you know what?
Something different.
In the middle of the 2008 Afcon.
Chris,
we go to play. Like we go work, we go shoot, we go to a hotel room.
We're not
building a hotel while we're living in it. So while they're living, they're building like windows and.
That is our experience of
and then he happened to be a host at the same
time. Listen, you need.
I'm watching the chef hours out. He went to go to work quickly.
You need to take us to the break so that we come back and talk about Afcon.
Let's talk about Group A. Nigeria. Okay, sharp. I see them. For me, you can never really rule out Nigeria, especially this current generation. Red hot. Guinea-Bissau I've always seen as a footballing nation over the years, especially over the time where I started paying attention to African football after 2006, and Equatorial Guinea as well, another up-and-coming footballing nation, as we call it. So we talk about that at the end of the break. We found out Group A, and see if really Cote d'Ivoire, like Chris says, will get out of this group, and maybe